Most players in Crimson Desert are broke, or at least the starting portion of making money is very difficult. And it's not because the game doesn't really give you money, it's because the game doesn't really introduce or explain how a lot of the systems work. In this video today, let's talk about gold bars, what they are, how to get them, and more importantly, how to invest them to get a massive amount of money on return. We're going to cover the trade system, how stealing actually works as a legitimate and an illegitimate form of income, and also gambling. Basically how to win with gambling, and more importantly, how to spot cheaters, which could net you a ton of money with very little effort. Every money system in this game we're going to be going through, or at least most of the money systems. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly where your gold should be going and why you've probably been leaving money on the table since day one. Let's get into it. Loading over, we're going to do this kind of in reverse. I'm going to talk to you about how to use banks to invest gold bars, and then we're going to talk about how to get gold bars and make money. But the reason I'm doing this first is because we can see that we're at day 45 at 10 a.m. on this save. This is my save from when I stream the game, so there's not a lot going on in this save, so you won't have to worry about any kind of spoilers. But the bank is right here in Hernand, pretty much right outside of the camp that you start right here. So there's the bank. And this is going to be important because it's for the second portion we're going to get into. But we go into the bank once you get a gold bar, and you talk to this guy over here, fucking Hagrid. So we talk to him, and then we have the chance to do a strong box registration and then invest. We can also convert currency, so you can convert 1 gold bar into 500 silver, and then 500 silver into 1 gold bar, whichever you want to do. So I currently have, at the very bottom, you can see 1 gold bar and 200 currency. Let's make a strong box. Now, the point of this is to open up the capability to invest. And you can see that the return here on investment for low, medium, and high risk is pretty much the delta of the positive, right? So it's 0 to 2 on a low because it's a low risk, but minus 15% to positive 20, or minus 50% to positive 55. We're going to go ahead and do a high risk investment. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to deposit a gold bar. And this is a high risk, as we can see. This shows us high risk is our investment. Applied is going to take 2 days for this to totally yield change investment strategy, after 3 days if you so wish. And our deposit right now is 1 gold bar. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you everything else, but we're going to come back to this pretty much at a 2-day point to discuss the results of the investment. And the result is it's going to give us a 50% more or less gain. And I'll show you how you can kind of game the system to get that. But now that we know what to do with our gold bars, how do we get them? And one of the very first ways to do so requires not even leaving the bank. Remember, we don't need to get specifically gold bars. We just have to get enough silver that then converts into a gold bar, because that is what we're going to invest. And there's a door right here that we're going to open up with a key. Now, for some reason, I guess you can just openly trespass without that being an issue, but make sure that door closes behind you, so my dog doesn't come through. Now, with one of the more recent patches, we can just go ahead and loot everything, right? Without having to worry about it affecting our contribution. So this is pretty much an entire treasure trove of things that you can then steal. As long as you have your little bandana around your face, you can then steal. We got a gunpowder, which is kind of a lackluster steal right there, but this is going to give us modest silver pouch, and we'll open these up at the very end, and just going to kind of sift through all these things. We have some gold ore, which you can use for either crafting or just outright selling. Another modest silver pouch, and I have my torch out because it's just easier to see what's going on. You'll be using this quite a bit. Your iron ore, copper ore, a bunch of crafting materials, a copper pouch from that one. The previous one we just opened, another copper pouch here. Also, you can steal any of these paintings and sell these paintings. Take a look at this gilded vase. That's 1.25 silver. Let's go ahead and steal all of these, because it's not just simply the items, but we also have these strong boxes. Go ahead and steal these. Now, we don't want to sell these, and I'll show you what we're going to do with them in a sec. I'm just going to keep looting this whole entire thing. As long as I have the inventory, that's all that matters. We're going to go ahead and steal this. Hey, who wouldn't want to buy a golden gilded carafe? Me, I'll buy like 3. Go ahead and steal the rest of these strong boxes, pretty much looting this entire bank. And once we've done all of this, we'll jump over to my inventory and we'll take a look at the total haul. We can see at the top of the screen right now, I've got 112 silver. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at these pouches. We're going to go ahead and use them, and we'll get all of the silver from them. Remember, it takes 100 silver to convert into that bar. I'm sorry, that was 100 silver to open up the strong box. I don't know why I said that. Go ahead and just open all that. So now we're at 121. So that's just 10 quick silver I've gotten just from opening that. But if we go into our collectibles, we'll see all the things that we stole. Now, these gilded vases aren't going to be a whole ton. I thought they were a little bit more. But we have these, the strong boxes. They sell for 1.14, but we open them and instead get 93 copper from this one. Sometimes you luck out. Sometimes you get 3.54. So these strong boxes are great because they can give you quite a bit, but this was a pretty low effort way to get quite a bit of overall income from pretty much just putting on a bandana, opening up that room and stealing. Just remember that the thief bar or the theft bar that you saw, the criminal theft bar, don't leave that room until that bar goes out, or else you will get captured, or I'm sorry, you'll get reported for a crime. You'll have a bounty on your head and the guards will probably just immediately capture you and you'll lose everything that you just stole. So you can see that this is going to result in gaining absolutely nothing. But we're pretty much almost done with all of these strong boxes here. And as we push our way through them, we're up to 160. Maybe we can get to 180 with the remainder here. But this is just a real quick way right out the gate at the very beginning of the game to make some money. Now, remember too, what we're trying to do. We're trying to generate a gold bar or find one. And with that amount of income that we've just generated, we're not going to be able to make a gold bar, right? But we can go ahead and go to bank just to kind of remind ourselves here. We need 500 silver to make that gold bar. And our current currency right now is 168. So we just made 40 very quick, or I'm sorry, 50 total, 56 what total quick and easy silver. And you can do this anywhere. I wanted to show you the bank because it's right there, but go and do this in manors, in castles, anywhere that you think there's going to be items. There's probably going to be juicy items. And there will also be big treasure chests that'll give you cool items. And now that you can steal things without getting caught, like I've said before, just make sure that you are doing it outside of the sight of others. Now, the easiest way to just outright get a gold bar is going over to Lioncrest Manor. And by walking into Lioncrest Manor, if you don't have a specific quest, you won't be able to go into the front door. I think it's the one to speak to Baron Alfonso. So if you don't have it, you'll have to sneak in. I recommend doing this at night. You can do it during the day, but the thing is, you're going to be stealing from this fireplace right here. You have to shut off the fireplace. Don't jump on it like I just did, but you shut off the fireplace, make sure your mask is on, and you'll see the ability to just steal. But make sure there's no one around, because if they see you, then you will get reported for the crime and you'll lose the gold bar. Now, this gold bar will regenerate over time. If you want to play like that, go ahead and do it. There's tons of videos out there that talk about these gold bars regenerating, but I'm trying not to focus on that. Once I've gotten one, I want to either invest it or build more. But once that theft bar disappears, you have your first gold bar that you could then just immediately go and invest. But let's talk now how to get more just straight up gold bars, as well as other ways to make money. Now, in addition to Lioncrest Manor, the most popular way to get a gold bar right now is going right here to the Wildlife Park. Now, the Wildlife Park is right in Dimensis, or Dimenis. If you've not been here, you can just simply, it's pretty close to Hernan. You just simply run east and you're right into it. Now, what I'm going to show you is a little bit of an exploit. It has been patched recently, so there's a chance that you probably won't see this as often. I got pretty lucky in finding this. Basically, what we're going to do is take a look at some nobles and see what items are on their person. And there's a way that you can just simply rinse and repeat what's here by simply teleporting back to the Abyss Nexus right outside. What I'm showing you, yes, it works here because it's most prevalent here. But any noble has the chance to have gold bars on them. So if you don't want to game the system and play into this and just simply jump around here and farm for these bars, you can do it in castles, you can do it in any of the manors, even Lioncrest Manor. You could theoretically double dip and get another gold bar there. But we would take a look with a lantern out. You can see there's a gold bar on this person. Conversely, too, you can go ahead and use your swords and do it that way. This is a way to get like a lot larger of a view to see what's going on. You do have to be careful though, because what that patch did was it lowered the frequency of these gold bars being there, but also it buried gold bars in pockets, meaning if I come over here, you see that those little pouches that denotes that these people have items on them. Sometimes you'll see keys, sometimes you'll see a bunch of other items. Now gold bars have a chance to be a second or third item in the list of pickpocketing. This just so happened to be the first one. So we have to make sure we have a mask equipped. This has been, it's been going on the internet quite a bit, but I figure it's worth talking about in this video because it is a quick way to make money. So we need to go ahead and bump into this person and then press X. And we've gone ahead and done it. Now we have to get out of this as fast as we can. And that's all you needed to do. It's a pretty abusable system. And I'm bringing that up in this video because now you can see how to abuse it, but you can also see that you can just simply play a pickpocket or a thief or anyone else who would want to kind of do this. And oh, you can accidentally assault someone while making a video and cause a real big ruckus. I gotta go. I really gotta go. I gotta go so fast. Oh no, there's no way I'm editing this out. There's no way I'm editing that out. But I was gonna say you do this and you go around and just try to look for people with gold bars in their pocket, and you can get gold bars pretty quickly. And then you take those gold bars back to the bank and you reinvest them. So we've got another gold bar. Let's go back to the bank and take a look at the investments. Now coming back to the bank, we have those gold bars. Apparently I stole 2. I don't remember doing that, but I stole 2 gold bars apparently. And so we're going to just deposit those in. So now we have 3 gold bars right now that are riding for this 1 day, 15-hour investment. This is the same one. We haven't recovered any of this money yet. There's one other big method though I do want to talk about before we get into trading and then going through with what this investment looks like at the end of the 1 day and 15 hours, but it's gambling. Now there are lots of places across the game that you can gamble, and we're just simply doing duo at the very first tavern in Hernand. There's other locations that are floating on the internet that give you lots of different return. I'm just showing you how this system works. So basically what we're going to do here is we're just going to play the game. We're only going to check and we're only going to call, because what we want to do is catch someone cheating. If we catch them cheating, then their total pool with their pot, what they've got. So this guy, for example, let's just say he had 10. It's split between us. So I get 5 and then Punter down here gets 5. But when Punter gets knocked out, I get all of it. So basically we just want to go through the list accusing people until they buckle. I'm sorry, until everyone's gone and then we get all the money. I don't know why I said buckle. But there's a tell to know if someone's cheating. Basically, when they're going to pull these sticks out of this bucket, if their elbow flares up to a 90-degree angle and is parallel with their shoulder, they're not cheating. But if their elbow stays down, tucked at a 45-degree angle when they toss these chips out or these sticks out, they're cheating. Down here in this corner, this is going to pop up with the thing that says accuse. It's Y on a controller. I'm not sure what it is on keyboard because I'm never playing keyboard when this happens. You just have to press that in the small window in which you've got. So let's go ahead here. I know I'm not dealing. We're going to go ahead and press start. It's the guy across from me who's dealing. So we'll watch how he does this. So right now, that's cheating. So we held down Y.
You can't fool me.
And my lantern's in his face all of a sudden. Spotlight's down. Slams his hand down and pays the iron price. And remember, this guy had a 21 silver pool. So that 21 silver pool is now divided up between myself and the other individual. So I'd made 21 silver all by pressing one button. So you would rinse and repeat this. So we'll take a look at see who's dealing. So it looks like I'm dealing. Let's go until the other person is dealing. So now they're going to do some dealing. Let's go ahead and press A. This is a little bit trickier because of this angle. We just have to watch their other hand. This is going to be their right arm that's doing this. That's up. So that was a legit toss. And that's up. That's a legit toss. So both of those situations, there's nothing to accuse there. And this is perfectly fine. So what we'll do is we would proceed playing through this hand in the same situation that we talked about. We're just going to check everything. And I'm sorry, I said check, check my own hand. We're just going to press check. We're going to do minimal betting. We're only going to match bets, even half pots, whatever it is. Like how it shows it in his in his sleeve, and get all the way around until they're dealing again. Because eventually they can't help themselves. They're going to cheat. So here we are with a brand new hand, and that was not legit. So we immediately accuse, hold down Y, it's spacebar on a PC, because he kept his elbow down at that 45-degree angle. Remember, the parallel elbow with the shoulder is a legit toss. The elbow down is an illegitimate toss, means they're cheating. So that took me a couple minutes here, and I made 48 silver out of it. There are games that are going to have higher buy-ins, higher total playing value, so that is obviously going to then net you a lot more silver. So this is a great way to make a lot of silver with very minimal effort, not having to check through RNG. I will say though that if there's only one person sitting at the table doing this, it's not worth it. You really want to try to get 2 people here at minimum, because then that is that much more money circulating at the table. And if there's not those people there, just simply go and use an Abyss Nexus, just teleport right back to where this location was. Like for example, this is Hernand. Use the same one and it'll reset who is sitting at the table. But that is how gambling gets you a ton of money very quickly. Now, one of the last subjects I want to talk about is honestly one of the most lackluster, and it is trading. You're in your journeys, in your exploring, you're going to come across these. Nope. You're going to come across these, like a black trash bag. Finely ground salt. This unpackaged trade good can be used for trading. And you can see it sells for 27 copper, or this sells for 35 copper. The problem is you need 25 of these at a time. If you don't want to deal with getting 25 of them, let me just show you how you can deal with this quite quickly. You come over to any one of these trade good black markets, you press sell, and you can sell the individual ones. So this is 27 and that is 35. Not a lot of money.
Until we meet again.
Now, there is a larger system attached to this, and it requires going back to the gray main camp. So let's teleport back there. And that involves this, the wagon. So you need to progress your gray main camp to the point that you can have a wagon. Then you need to use the engineer to build the wagon, and you'll have one of 3 options. This is the middle option, I believe. Once you have that wagon, you can then actually take part in trading the way it was meant to. Any trade goods that you find, you can come over here to Carl, like that one that we found. Go ahead and talk to him, manage provisions, and from him, you can put trade goods over here. The problem is that you can only sell them at a minimum of 25, and you can't add to these. Hopefully you can in a patch, but if I were to have any other trade goods, let's say I found additional brimstone, I can't just add it into this. Or flour, I can't just add it into this. It's packaged individually as a single for whatever reason. But we would then get in our wagon here, and we would go to locations on the map that have these 2 scales. This denotes that it has a trading post. So let's take a look at the details on this trading post. We're going to go all the way to the rightmost tab once it finishes loading in. And this shows us all the items that they're selling, and then all the items that they're buying. This gives us an idea. I don't know what this scale is. I think this is a scale that is only relegated to this specific location. I don't think there's a global market that this scale is based off of, for all intents and purposes. So what we're going to take a look at for this video is packaged black pepper. That's trading or selling at 179 for 140 units. That's going to cost me 25,000 silver, right? Or 25,000 copper, sorry, 25,000 copper. Divide that by 100, so 250 silver. Now, we have another location, though, that we can take this to. Let's go ahead and go up here, not to the location that I was stealing gold bars from that I'm definitely now wanted for, and we'll take a look at the golden trading post. Remember, it's got those little the scales. So we're going to look at the details here, and we'll go over to the trading post here. Now, if we bought 25,000 coppers worth of black pepper, we could sell it here because this is selling at 252 copper a unit. We have 140 units, right? So if 25,000 was our original, so 140 times 252 is 35,000. So this nets us a 10,000 copper gain. which, I mean, that's pretty cool, right? The problem is that the process to do this, so I'm using my calculator here, so it's 102 silver gained. The process of doing this requires me to physically get off of the map, physically get into this wagon, go to the first location, buy from that first location, and then physically take that the goods from that location to the other one. It's tedious. So it's better built around lots of trade goods that you decide to buy at spurts. You can take trade goods from these locations and then just bring them back to your camp and sit on them and then decide to sell them in large waves. That's the only way that I personally have found a profit in trading. But keep in mind, my expansion into trading hasn't been that big. I haven't found tons of trading posts. So if you've found lots of trading posts and you've done a lot of trading, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below what has worked the best for you, because there are other locations across the map like this castle. Well, it does have a royal trading post, which does unlock later in the quests, but it has royal trading you can do where you just buy simply packaged silk. And the packaged silk over at this trading post doesn't buy for that much money, 696. It doesn't buy, it buys for like 590. So you lose 100 on it. So there's a lot of complexity here. It's just a system that I wanted to talk about in this video because I wanted to keep the continuity of making money alive in this video, but it's not one I've found money worthwhile. The time it's going to take me to travel from here all the way to here, I could have just simply gone and done duo and reset this location right by teleporting in and made double the money, if not more, and not had to hedge any of my bets or deal with any conflicts in the route, whatever it is. So that's how trading works. We've gone through so many things. Let's take a look at those investments and how those gold bars have turned out for us. I lied. There's one other subject I do want to talk about quickly, and it's selling wagons that you find that bandits have taken, or you can just outright steal them. So if you see wagons on the road that people are transporting, you can just go ahead and take them. This just so happens to be a wagon that bandits had, I'll say, commandeered from some traders. And what you do is you would bring it to any one of these locations. There's one right outside of Hernand. It's part of the quest, a wagon black market. So let's jump forward with having this wagon and turn it in to see how much money we'll make. So just like in Grand Theft Auto, as you approach, they open up the garage doors for you. We'll go ahead and bring this bad boy in. It's kind of a little tricky, gets a little wonky. Just know that you could very easily destroy this wagon if you go off the road, if you hit like a half of an inch of water. So it is very finicky.
Good work.
So he'll pay us a sum for this. I don't know if there's a way to assess the value of these wagons ahead of time. I think the more literal stuff that is on the wagon, the more that you get for it. The bigger the wagon too. There's larger wagons that you can get, smaller wagons. Like you can get like a prison wagon, you get like near nothing for it. And then that gives you 12 silver. So that wagon didn't have a whole lot in it. It's usually that was one that was found by on the side of the road that bandits had already kind of taken over. It's the ones that actually have merchants on them that will give you more money. And this wasn't like a, hey, look, this is a hidden amount of money you were sitting on. Because that took me, I had a stopwatch timed through the whole process. It took me 3 minutes to get it from that location to here. For 12 silver, not a whole lot. But when you get the actual merchant ones, you can get actually up to 100 or 200 silver because it basically turns in their entire haul into this location. So we've done all this. Let's now look at finally those gold bars investment. Coming back here to the bank, let's take a look that we are at that high risk investment with 3 gold bars, and it's going to happen in 11 hours. So this is where you get to choose how you want to play this video game. Do you want to save scum and game the system and really be, you know, a gamer about it, right? You would save the game at this point. And by doing that, you would then go find a bed and you would rest for 12 hours. Resting for 12 hours will then skip this forward and we'll be able to see what our total gain is. And we'll take a look at it, how you can see that and everything. But you make the decision for yourself. You have roughly like an 8-hour or 6-hour cooldown in between resting, so you can't just kind of burst your way through this. Basically getting through it go do some quests. So let's go rest for 12 hours and see what our return is. So we're back at the bank and we're going to see what we got. Now, a more effective way to do this is you could have waited like 10 minutes before your investments vest and just saved then. But I chose not to do that. So we can see by going to previous investments, because we remember we only had 3 gold bars to begin with. Previous investments, we crushed it. Oh man, we crushed it and got almost the max amount of investment return. The max amount is 55%. We got 53. So we went from 1 gold bar, which is the equivalent of 15,000 silver, to now 4 gold bars and an additional 295, which is 2295 silver. So we almost doubled, we 53% increased our gold. Like I said before, you can take this as is and just use the system on a lower medium basis and then just kind of let it ride and let it eat away as it does with 1 gold bar or 2 gold bars, or you can invest heavy into it and you can game it by doing save scumming. It's entirely up to you, but this is an amazing way to make a lot of money from a very passive system that is just going to constantly be generating you money. And honestly, from this point too, you can just do a lot of stealing and a lot of just selling your general goods that you find around the game world after you get this first infusion of money. I feel like doing this for like your first or second gold bar, getting the big investment out of it, then you're just kind of set to do whatever you want after that. I feel like once you have that set amount of income, you're like, cool, I can now bet heavy with this on a lot of the other betting places in the game, or buy some stuff and sell some stuff, whatever you want. This initial capital, this initial infusion, I think is really what matters. But those are a lot of the prime ways to make money in this game, outside of course, just selling things that you find across the game world. So go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. What are some other ways that you've been able to get a lot of money in this game? And a lot of the things we talked about too are ways that have been patched and have been adjusted. But this, as of the recording of this video, which is the 8th of April, this is post everything being patched. So it still works quite well and is still a great source of income. But if you enjoyed the content here today and you ended up helping you, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those things helps me out in a huge way. And don't forget to check me out on Twitch, where I'll be streaming this game and plenty of other ones. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.